Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the spirit of truth. And here we come with the two mediums, Chico Xavier, Waldo Vieira, and a group of superior spirits. 60 years ago, between 1960 to 61, this book came along in Brazil, The Spirit of Truth, to expand the truth, the science of the world. The spirit is science. And today, the spirit doctor Andre Luiz, the smiling doctor, comes to us to talk about us and others. You remember Andre Luiz when he was last incarnated, as you can read in the book No Solar, a book that is worth reading, rereading, and listening at Cardiac Radio when Mac Mello and Francisca Kranz did the series here at Cardiac Radio. And we also have the movie. You can watch the movie No Solar with subtitles in English and delight yourself in the knowing of this Brazilian doctor who discarnated, found himself in the spiritual realm, and learned so many things. When he was last incarnated, he wasn't very charitable at all. He was very self centered. He says it. And now, after so many years in immortality, learning and helping others, he comes from higher spheres because he learned, he evolved. He comes to help you and I not miss the boat. I don't want to miss the boat anymore. Do you? Yes, we make mistakes. None of us are perfect, but we want to progress. And today, in this lesson, Andre Luiz got inspired by a particular spirit message in the book The Gospel According to Spiritism by Kardec. A message by Sister Rosalie, or Rosalie, when she talks about the difference between material charity and moral charity. And at some point, it's chapter 13, item 9 of the Gospel According to Spiritism. Moral charity consists in giving support to one another, and it is what you practice the least on the lower the world where you are incarnate for now, she says. Believe me, there is great merit in knowing how to keep quiet and let a more ignorant person speak. This is yet another kind of charity. Knowing how to turn a deaf ear when a mocking word escapes the mouth accustomed to scorn, not paying attention to the smirk of disdain that greets your entry amongst persons who often wrongly think they are above you, whereas in the spirit life, the only true life, they are sometimes far from it. These are meritorious acts. They are sometimes far from it. These are meritorious acts not of humility, but of charity, because not paying attention to someone else's wrongs portrays moral charity. A lot to learn. I remember my grandmother used to remind us that, yet we have to learn, when she used to say, those are the wrongs of others, what people do, she used to say, são gravetos in Portuguese, meaning little sticks, meaning they're so little, it doesn't matter. Let's not pay attention to it. Very indulgent. And Andre Luiz comes after learning the importance of it all. Tonight, he comes to you and to me to all of us. And the discarnates as well who are with us, who are listening to Kardec radio in the spiritual realm. Because did you know the Kardec radio is not only broadcast in the material realm, they broadcast in the spiritual realm. Every program is broadcast in two realms to give an opportunity for everyone who is close here to the crust, because the lower zones is right here. Those who are around and have ears to hear, they will listen. So here comes the message. By the Spirit, Dr. Andre Luiz, you and others. Friend, he's telling to you and me, let's attend to the plea of fraternity. So there is a plea. There is a call asking us to be fraternal. Scale 0 to 10. Where are we in regards to fraternity? Are we paying attention to the needs of others? Are we supporting others in their needs? Open your soul to the generous manifestations towards all beings, without locking yourself in the tower of false situations before the world. So open our souls to the generous manifestations of all beings. So first step of fraternity, look at the world. Don't look at your belly button. So it's like open instead of being self-centered. You know the risk we incur when we are too self-absorbed. We create self-obsessions and then obsessions. And obsessions that can be dramatic, changing our perispiritual form. So we need to be very careful. Self-absorption, self-centeredness is very risky. It's always important to think, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Look at Jesus. In the book No Roteiro de Jesus, we were reading yesterday with friends. It was so joyful because in that passage, it talks about Jesus receiving 4 men who wanted to know more about the teachings of the Messiah. So he was there in Peter's home at the living room, talking to them, explaining. And at some point, Peter's mother-in-law calls Jesus to attend to something else. What do you think Jesus did? If I were Jesus, I would have said, not now. I'm sorry. Can you give me 5 minutes? I'm just finishing here. It's a meeting, an important meeting. No, he didn't. He excused himself, saying to the men, excuse me, I need to see what's happening, to give a hand, and then I'll be back. And it was Peter's mother-in-law. It wasn't the wife, it wasn't Peter, it wasn't Peter's mom, it was Peter's mother-in-law. Why am I re-emphasizing it? At that time, the roles of people mattered. It could tell of their importance. And women wouldn't dictate, wouldn't have any power over men in that way. Jesus treated everybody so equally. He served to the ultimate call that he never discriminated anybody. He never turned anybody down. Amazing. So we need to be open. And some people, when they think they are helping others, they say, I forget about myself to help others. No. When I'm helping others, I'm not forgetting about myself. Because when I have a perfume, I spray on my hand, okay? But then this hand that pushed the button kept a little bit of the fragrance. If I actually take a little bit of the perfume in my hand to pass it on to somebody else, I keep it with me. It's impossible to really love others and not feel loved and not feel the love within. When we're not feeling it, it's because we're not actually helping. We're bargaining love. We're giving, thinking of receiving, and then we're extenuating. So then we're not actually giving. We're manipulating people. I'm giving, thinking, what are you going to give back to me? Deep inside, I have that expectation. Oh, Vanessa, it's so hard not to do without expectation, but we need to practice. Having zero expectation. You know how? Help many people. There will be so many people you can't keep track of it. You're helping and doing and helping and doing. And I'm not saying quantity wise, but let's care for people in a way that you can't keep track of. What have I done? When was it? Because we put ourselves out there. We give of ourselves. It's time, it's energy, it's health, it's feelings, vibrations, things. First thing, the plea of fraternity, open ourselves to the world. Look at the world. Observe. Under the pretext of living with dignity, do not be indifferent to others. So he's saying, pay attention to people because he didn't pay attention to people. And many of us don't. And we need to teach our children because they are super self absorbed. It's natural, but we can't let them be so absorbed. We need to say, now you're going to stop playing, to select your toys and send to other children who do not have toys. Oh, but I want to play. Uh-uh. Now it's time to forget about what we want and think of what others need. Seek to relate to people of all social levels, having friends beyond the borders of home, religious faith, and profession. Some people are like, oh, if I'm a scientist, I only have friends who are scientists. Oh, if I'm a spiritist, I only have spiritist friends. No, we can have friends in any and every religion, in any and every profession. And it's important to see people beyond what they do, what they profess, where they live, how they look like, where they come from. He's saying, open your mind to everyone. Avoid the constant circumspection or systematic sadness that generates coldness and stifles sympathy. Saying, remember your body language, how you're showing, what are you showing to people? Are you showing that you're joyful in your life? You may be sick. You may have your daily issues like everybody else who doesn't. It's life. And yet, we're here together with one another. Do not underestimate the poorly dressed or the elegant person, because there are people who are like this. They criticize the poor and the rich. The rich are, oh my gosh, they have that watch. Or, oh my gosh, look at their clothes. Oh, you know, in terms of feelings, when we have that feature in us, it's the disgust within. need to watch out because our children quickly learn it. And we say, Do you want to play the disgust in your life? Jesus, as our master, he was never disgusted. I've never heard he was disgusted with anything. He didn't approve of the Pharisees in their hypocrisy, but he was not disgusted ever. So here's a feature, emotional feature, that one day will disappear as we evolve, that feeling of disgust. As we evolve, the superior spirits, they don't have that type of feeling anymore. Why? Because they understand. Because they have compassion. Disgust disappears. When we're too disgusted about things and life and people, it's a sign that we have to evolve some more. Because the good spirits are never disgusted. We've never heard of Jesus being disgusted and say, ew, ugh, right? Like we hear children and youth. So we need to tell them, like, where's our kindness towards people? Sometimes they may look at our plate with some food that they don't enjoy and they're like, ew, is this kind? Would you like that I say ew to your food? But in the adult world, we're just alike. We display that disgust, especially when we are amongst friends. Oh, ooh. And it's not something that really helps us at all. He's saying, do not make exceptions in kindness towards the lesser experienced or the less educated, nor humiliate those who do not speak well. And here comes again a lesson for those who are parents, educators. Because at a certain age, we see youth and older children, sometimes even younger, depending on their environment, being very judgmental or feeling bragging about themselves and correcting adults. Kindness, humility. It's impossible to be kind when we are full of pride. It even rhymes. It's impossible to be kind when we're full of pride. Do not let months go by without visiting and talking to the less favored brothers and sisters, ignoring the pain they may exist. Some people nowadays are going to say, but Vanessa, where I live, I don't see the poor. It's different. Oh no, we're going to find them. Sometimes the homeless in the streets. Of the fancy streets, homeless everywhere. We need to go there to their encounter. We need to go after the suffering. The pandemic is still on. We have to be careful, but we can always give a hand. Get to know of programs that are existing and are helping in the front lines, the people who are in need, and we can partake. There are programs that are even accepting volunteers already with masks and social distancing. Do not condition your relationship with others with suit and tie, to your enameled nails, or to the shiny shoes that they may show. Because there are people who select, right? They say, oh, I want friends that are rich. I remember watching this program on Netflix. Mentor Joseph said, it's important to know that the world is that way as well. Bling Empire. And this guy who wasn't rich, he was a model. He said, I like being friends with rich people. Why? Because he gets things. Do not be enslaved to the conventional title and do not exaggerate the demands of your position in society. The titles we get are simply keys to open doors to help everybody, tools to work more, to help more people. That's all they are. Opportunities for us to work more, but never to brag about ourselves because there are people whom in this life they have no title, but they have had titles in previous lives. They were doctors, scientists, but in this life they don't need it anymore. They are in another step of their educational curriculum with God. So we need to detach. It's about detachment. This whole message is inviting us to detachment, to reframing how we see ourselves and others. And he says, pay attention to whoever asks you without creating obstacles. So if somebody comes to us, like sometimes it's a child at home, Mom, Dad, I need this. And we're like, now, this, that, and the other. I'm tired. We can say, but we need to listen. Pay attention. Say, okay, let me listen to you. What do you need? Like Peter, like Jesus in Peter's home. The mother in law interrupted the meeting and asked for his help, and he left to help. He never said, oh, now I'm in an important meeting, I can't. So Jesus himself is the guiding model. Pay attention to people who come to you. Get acquainted with the neighbors without solemnity. Make friends without ulterior motive, without a hidden agenda. Oh, I'm good friends with that person because they're friends with that person, because they have a good car, a good house, this and that and the other. Accept the spontaneous favor and offer service without thinking in remuneration. Sometimes people have a hard time accepting a favor, right? They say, no, no. Oh, I wanna help you. And say, no, no, I don't need help. I don't. No, we need help. When we need help, we need help, period. And that's okay. It doesn't humiliate us because that's how life is. When we're born totally helpless, and I would quote unquote helpless, at the mercy of people who embrace us. And now we are older. As we age, we're like, no, I don't need any help. What kind of thing is that? We need, in order of return, like Jesus, he often accepted help. He lived in Peter's home for years. He was a guest in their home. He accepted the favor. Who are we not to? How good are you in accepting favors? But we can't abuse of people, I agree. But how good are we? And offer service without getting anything in return. Because sometimes we don't want to do the extra step because I'm not going to get anything. Wrong. Nobody can escape the coexistence in humanity, says Andre Luiz. Therefore, know to live with everyone so that pride does not undermine your balance. Now he's giving us the key. Pride. Behind it all, pride. It really shakes our balance. Pride blinds us and doesn't allow us to shine through in our virtues. Because it's as if we're bigger than our virtues. People can't see it. Whoever gets stuck in their spirit is like the well of standing water that poisons itself. Communicate with people. Smile to children. Greet the elderly. Talk to the sick. Free your own heart, destroying the existing barriers of knowledge and faith. Title and tradition, dress and social class between you and other individuals. And the happiness you offer to others will be the light of greater happiness shining through you. May recently talked about it. Emmanuel and all the spirits, Kaibar Shuto and many others, repeating charity. Without charity, there is no salvation. Without charity, there is no salvation. Without charity, there is no salvation. Without charity, there's no salvation. But now it's moral charity. Open your heart, smile, listen, extend a hand, pay attention, go deeper. Don't have a hidden agenda. But you know what? We can't do it all if we're full of pride. And we cannot do it either if we're afraid. Many people are afraid of being deceived, being used and abused. But look at Jesus. He helped. He helped. He still helps. Are we abusing him? Is he feeling abused? No. He's the shepherd. He's calling us, as Emmanuel said yesterday, to help out. In the next 24 hours, we're going to do one exercise. One exercise. It's talking about fraternity. We and others. The plea of fraternity. And the first step is to be open to others' needs. In the next 24 hours, when we come across anybody through Skype, phone, Zoom, WhatsApp, whatever means we need and we want, even in person, we're going to be open, reminding this affirmation. I'm open to be fraternal. To be fraternal means to feel like we're equal brother and sister. To acknowledge our equality. I'm open to be fraternal, no matter the titles, the hierarchy of people, nothing. I'm open to be fraternal. I'm open to be fraternal. We're going to repeat it throughout the next 24 hours and do this exercise. Be more fraternal. Let us be more fraternal. And he says, at the end of the day, happiness will offer us the light of greater happiness that will shine through us. Who doesn't want it? Thank you, Andre Luiz, for bringing your smile, for bringing your recommendations. So precious. They make so much sense. Because we're going to make connections with higher spirits who are constantly fraternal, constantly observing other people's needs. And so shall we do it. That's it. We hope you spend a beautiful day in this openness to fraternity. And when we come back tomorrow, God willing, we'll see more about the Spirit of Truth here at Kardec Radio. Thank you, friends. See you tomorrow.